Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. I do hope you're having a good day. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. This is episode 65, where I had the immense pleasure of Kamran Khan on the podcast. We basically were talking about entrepreneurship in this lockdown world and basically with the realms of marketing as well. The conversation went over a number of different topics. Very insightful. He's a great chap, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the show. So please sit back, enjoy, and yeah, please subscribe. Have a great day. Yeah, peace. Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. I do hope you're having a good day. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. This is episode number 65. And today I have the immense pleasure of having Kamran Khan, who is a contact strategist at Vlam Media. I've got to say he does a number of things, but yes. Contact strategist he is today. He's got his hat on. How are you doing today, sir? How are things?
I am really well, thank you, Moya. It's been a pleasure just trying to get this all to happen. Previous to this, I know there was twos and fro's about internet connections and trying to Zoom to just be a smooth run, but
hey, I'm just happy to see you moving and talking. That's what I'm happy about right now. Yes. Basically, yeah, when we tried to do this the first time around, let's just say the gods of the internet weren't playing on our side that day. But nevertheless, we're here right now.
Today was destined, okay? And it is, and today it was.
Excellent. Yes, the reason why I reached out to you originally is because of how we were in lockdown then. We're kind of looking like we're moving towards the light now. And basically how like lockdown and say post-lockdown and what's going to happen after that. Someone like yourself who's started a number of companies and you most really got more of a finger on the pulse than I, because I'm a humble podcaster at this moment in time and a lot like a furloughed individual. But yeah, what do you think, like at this present time, what do you think are some of the greater challenges for people who are entrepreneurs right now?
Obviously, the biggest challenge was obviously reaching your customer. If you were relying on a shop front, you was relying on some sort of office or, the regular traditional retail experience, that all went completely out the window because everybody stopped, leaving their house, unless it was for obviously toilet roll and hand sanitizer. So cash and carry really cashed in, but the rest of us obviously didn't. Now, obviously, other companies, service-based industries, estate agents, whatever it was, they all took a massive big hit. Now, to some respect, we had the beauty of having a furlough scheme, which, having some sort of cash flow, whatever it is, I was hugely, immensely grateful. I'm not even a Tory kind of guy, right? But I was like, the Tory government kind of come up on this one with the whole furlough system and creating some cash flow for all these companies. Now, the first thing I think everyone noticed off the cuff was they never either had a digital presence or they never had some sort of digital experience already created. Some of these guys had gone all in on just having a retail experience. So, like, for example, Primark is a big example. Right? Primark was losing £650 million every month.
Yeah.
Every month. That's huge. That's crazy amounts of money, but they never had anything. Obviously, I don't know how Primark works or why they never had anything in the background, like online experience. They have their own reasons probably. But that was really surprising that they didn't have something in play. Like if this was to happen, or most stores generally do have some sort of online experience or shop or e-commerce shop that, if you can't go to the shop, you can order online. It's 2020. Come on, we were there, aren't we?
No, like I'm very surprised for you saying that Primark hasn't got an online like store. Or online presence where people can actually make purchases because Primark's huge, and I think I would have thought, people would have just ordered stuff online and basically had it delivered, not to deal with the Primark queues or that madness, which you'll know what that's like over here in the like jolly old UK. If anyone doesn't know, Primark is a do if you go there, and you're lucky to get out of that place intact or sane. But
Oh man, yeah, you saw day one. They were ridiculous. They were by day one. They had already prepared their stores to have these massive queues outside. They knew the floods of people were going to come in, and we're all in lockdown. I don't even know what people were shopping for, but people need necessities and whatnot and everything. They obviously they need. So they hit Primark as soon as Primark opened up. But the beauty of lockdown. See, there was a beauty of lockdown. Now, I think as people, as human beings, we try and find the good in what's going on, and lockdown, I think, was a phenomenal opportunity for a lot of us to actually just take a break, just everything to just slow right down, and to reflect a little bit on your business, on your company, maybe where you are in life, where your skills are and everything else, because everything slowed right down. The shops were shut. Everything really came right to a sudden halt. And more often than not, we're always complaining, life's too fast, the time's running by so quick, you're here and there and everything else. Don't have enough time to find this out. I don't have enough time to create content. I haven't got enough time to explore, expand my digital presence and whatnot. But all of that kind of all those excuses, it went right out the window when lockdown started.
Yeah, like this is the thing. You mentioned like creating digital content. Like, okay, with this sort of huge amount of time which was presented to people out there as entrepreneurs, have you sort of like, with your experience, have you seen a sort of large uptake of people doing more activity online with regards to making sure?
Yeah. I mean, 1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, like, as consumers, we're consuming more social media now, obviously being in lockdown, right? TV, I mean, we'd have thought everybody would have binged watch TV, and to some extent, probably some people did, or they binged Netflix, or they binged Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But they were binging their phone a lot of the time, just streaming through Facebook and going through Instagram. TikTok had this massive explosion of over 30s all of a sudden. I don't know what the numbers were, but practically TikTok just went like this in membership. And TikTok was traditionally this whole thing where it was like, for kids, between 10 to 18 even. I mean, maximum you would have thought somebody was old enough on TikTok would be like 18 years old, right? And now, like I said, you've got the plus 30 crowd on there, and they're getting really creative. The house phone's in here, so you can hear that buzzing, boom, boom. I wonder if someone's gonna pick that up. So the over 30 crowd get involved.
Yeah.
And you see their creativity. It's hilarious, because what TikTok does is, for anyone who doesn't have, crazy editing software at home, who doesn't have all the sort of, gadgets and magic to make a video, TikTok makes it such a super user-friendly platform.
Okay.
And you can experiment. And what people did was they experimented with their creative side. And if you go onto this platform, I mean, TikTok have kind of played a blinder whereby the content in these, it's little snippets of content, which is what, 15 seconds to like 55 seconds. That's enough human attention span to give it a little watch. And they use the music, because the theme of the music keeps you engaged. Visually, you're watching something which is creating the mood, or the music is creating the mood. The video is creating either humor or it's something depressive. It could be anything. But what TikTok does is it recognizes, and people say that because it's a Chinese company or it's got a Chinese-backed app or something like that, that when you sign up to it, you're giving up a lot more information than you should be giving.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about, just for example, divorce in your text messages, or if you're talking about, I don't know, you're having a hard time, for some reason, TikTok will start sending you videos which are just aligned with all of that. And it's crazy. It's a bit worrying also to one hand as well, but they know it's almost like they're giving you what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You're engaged.
Yeah, because like this is a thing. Like I was watching the Philip DeFranco show. Basically, if you don't know who Philip DeFranco is, he basically he does news in his own way. So basically, he'll take snippets of what popular stories are right now, and like something about TikTok, which I like only found out today, is they might actually get banned in the United States. I know they've banned them in India at this present time. And I can't remember how many other countries are looking at TikTok with sort of like with a suspicious side eye. So it's like, yeah, I can, like, I've seen people who've been on TikTok for about like less than 100 days have millions of people following them, hundreds of thousands, stuff like this. And if this was before the lockdown, I'll go, yeah, TikTok. By all
Yeah.
means, I think it's worth getting involved in that, because when it comes to realms of sort of marketing or anything like that, it's all
Yeah.
about getting that attention. But you know what I
Oh,
mean?
TikTok has crazy attention. I mean, I remember when I threw up a video the first, because you have to experiment with these things.
Mm,
And people always have this thing where they kind of steer away from it. I didn't touch Twitter for such a long time. It wasn't my thing. I didn't touch LinkedIn very much, actually. I'd play about my Facebook and I'd play about my Instagram, and I'd use them for business purposes.
mm,
But then obviously when Facebook and Instagram become as popular as they did, and they're hugely, hugely popular, when you plug out your content on there, Facebook and Instagram kind of say to you, we'll show it to a few people, but if you've got the right,
yeah,
make sure we'll show it to everyone. So you kind of like in this, it's a leverage thing, is that they have all the leverage. You put some money in, and they will share your message like fire, no problem. They'll do what they say in that respect.
mm,
TikTok does as an emerging kind of piece, a platform. As soon as you put some content on there, they want it to be distributed as far and wide as possible. So I literally yesterday I sat with this one guy. He had he was setting up some sort of optician type of business, but it's like an optician that comes to your home and can do the eye test for you at home, and he can give you glasses and everything, right?
yeah.
And we just started. We literally set up a TikTok account for him yesterday, just for the hell of it. Made 2-3 videos, and within the space of 24 hours, not even 24 hours actually. I think, well, now it would be 24 hours actually.
Okay, yeah.
He's received already like 600 views of 2 videos and like 150 likes. Now, yeah, that's, I mean, as far as numbers go, that's the way I see it, that's like 600 people saw your ad or your piece of content.
Mm.
It was brought to someone's attention, and when you can keep that flow going, when it comes to specs, it's almost like you're conditioning someone's brain to think, I know a guy.
Yeah. No, but like, this is the thing with, like, for a totally fresh account, getting 600 people on social media, that
Yeah.
is like, that's pretty, no, that's very good actually, because like if you try doing that on YouTube or Instagram, it would take a lot more. Well, I don't think you'll get that type of engagement right away. Maybe.
Not right away. No way. It takes a lot of time to grow from on those platforms right now. Because I've grown accounts from zero, and it's just a very steady process where you might catch a couple of followers as you're going along, and you keep plugging away at it. But TikTok has an algorithm which is just trying to spread it as far and wide as possible. And then as a user, for example, he sees this viewership, and this happens to the majority of people when it comes to just put any sort of post up.
Yeah.
When you receive positive engagement, you have this dopamine that goes through your system. And some people don't know what dopamine is. Dopamine is that feel-good thing, that drug that flows through you. So some people who, come out the gym and they feel like, you just feel like $1,000 or £1 million, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
But what dopamine does is a little bit of drug, it's a bit of drug, which makes you feel good. And your body, it's like your mind saying, you know what, I like this. Let's do that again. Now, what happens is it can be a dark hole, because at the moment all of us are still guinea pigs in this game of social media. Never before have humans had to take in so much information and such an influx of it constantly happening. Whether it was 24-hour news, did you hear what happened over here? Shocking levels of violence being sent to you on your WhatsApp. I mean, our level of, sort of discretion has gone out the window. Everything we've seen right now is raw. And videos are manipulated sometimes to send you in a different direction. Like people with far right views, for example, just as an example, even far left views.
Yeah.
Your social platforms know almost, to some respect, they have this pattern of you where they can see this guy obviously has far right views, maybe. Now, essentially what they do is they'll keep sending you content which reinforces that value system of yours, because they believe that's what you want to watch. Now, with things like dopamine in your system, you plug something up online, it gets good traction, it almost is encouraging you to think, yeah, let me do another video, I'll do another video, and I'll do another video. And it becomes it is this drug. It becomes a drug for some people. All you need to do is ask someone who, we spoke earlier about like 21st century privilege problems. One of them is, and I've heard it before, It's someone will say, you know, I put my content up and no one's watching it, no one's liking it, no one's commenting on it. And you can just see and you can tell that they feel down about it. It's like, it's almost like, doesn't the world accept my creativity or what I'm trying to do here? Or, you know, and they throw it out to like, my friends aren't supporting me, my family don't care about my business, and blah, 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 boom.
Yeah. But from the, like, I understand that with regards to the realm of dopamine and basically giving that person an individual rush on regards to their sort of like seeing how well their post does or doesn't do. But with regards to the realms of, say, an entrepreneur and their businesses, how is there, like, what is the sort of power of leverage like they would be able to get from like a new platform like TikTok, which might be here, like it's here today, might be gone tomorrow, but like with other sort of platforms,
Definitely.
like Instagram or like YouTube.
100%. Okay, so each and every platform you're on, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram, you're on TikTok, okay? All of these platforms also provide you an option to show the user, the other person watching your content, where else they can find you. So for example, on TikTok, you'll find that if you've got an Instagram account attached, it will plug that into your profile. So let's say I see something funny you did on your Facebook or on your TikTok. It was 15 seconds or 20 seconds of you dancing, and I found it hilarious. Who knows? But TikTok has a little button there which can redirect you to my Instagram, for example. So you might see my Instagram page, and you might see a whole new level of content. It might be content related to, you know, estate management, double glazing, whatever you're into. You might find me interesting for what I know, right? And then people cross follow sometimes. Like, you may put a video on your Instagram and have like a 1 minute trailer of it, and then say the rest of it you'll find on my YouTube account. And then you're kind of pinging people in different directions on different accounts, which the majority of people are kind of getting more and more and more. Now, like some of the things I like to play around with.
Cameron.
Now, you've got WhatsApp status things, almost like mirroring how Snapchat works. So you have a WhatsApp status and you have a Snapchat, and you can create 15 seconds of just maybe 15 seconds or 20 seconds of a bit of content. And you can see your viewership on who's watching these things. And more often than not, people need a little nudge to know what exactly it is that you do. Like, for example, people who produce loads of content on fitness, whether it's coming to me on my WhatsApp status phone or whether it's coming to my Insta or my Snap, whatever it is, it's almost subconscious that the minute someone talks to me about, like when someone says, I need to find myself a gym trainer, I'm thinking, you know, you got to see this guy. And what your content also becomes is this gallery whereby I could recommend you a builder or a plumber. I could recommend you a trainer or whoever. And more often, people just say, have they got a social media account? It's like, well, yeah, here they are. And then they're going to go through your content. They'll find out who you are, what you're about potentially. See, one of the things I try and tell sort of clients is stay away. Well, not entirely, but try not to use too much stock footage. People love to use stock footage, photographs, for example, stock footage videos, to try and give this perception of their business, which really isn't true. It's not real. It's like sometimes stock footage, you can see it a mile away. You can tell this is something downloaded from Google. Now, I just send an example. I'm on a lot of local Facebook groups, and I advise any business owner, any entrepreneur, whatever you're in, always become a member of these groups you have in your local area, right? And they're loaded with people who are saying things like, can somebody recommend me a builder, or does anybody know an estate agent, X, Y, and Z? And if you're there and you're already, and your profiles are ready, so the minute you recommend yourself to say, you know, I'm the best double glazing guy, or I'm the best plumber there is, our natural instinct to look at your Facebook page, potentially, isn't it? So then we look at your page and we want to see, what did you do? Like, what have you done? And then if you have these pictures, which are clearly from the internet, and, you know, it's just full of like, buy my stuff. I'm doing a special offer on this. I'm doing a special offer on that. It doesn't provide any client of any kind of surety or satisfaction that I should go with this guy or this gal. But when you keep your content as authentic as possible, keep it real. It's a cliche argument, but it's always the best thing to do. Now, you just put as long as your content comes under three things, right? Just make, here's the phone again. If you just make your content educational, something to do with information, or anything to do that's funny. So either educational, informational, or entertainment. Just keep your creative brief within these three realms, And that is enough to pull some engagement from someone. And people watch, I'll be honest with you, people look at your content without even engaging. It's not even worth feeling disheartened about. I remember putting some videos up of a trip to Pakistan that I made.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only when I was at Takeaway, this guy who was on my Facebook page, was on my profile, one of my friends, he was telling me how much he loved those videos. Oh man, you got to do some more of them, bro, and da-da-da-da. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I didn't even see your name on the like thing or the comment bit. But I know, but so you know that there are people who lurk, who just watch. They don't engage. They're just watching what's going on.
Yeah.
Keep producing your content. Keep plugging it out there. Show your business. What is that you guys do? But it's always better to be. I did this statement I remember hearing about. You know, it's always better to be prepared for an opportunity than to have an opportunity come to you and not be prepared.
Yeah. No, I agree. Les Brown did a speech about when he was working for a radio company. He was like just the assistant, and like he was like waiting for his opportunity to get into the booth and do his, like, you know what I mean, be the presenter. One day, I think he was talking about, I can't remember the guy's name, but this guy got a little bit too tipsy, and the phone call came through. I just like, yeah, keep drinking. And like, that's not it. That's like, yeah, like, yep, thank you very much. Called his mother, called his girlfriend, and went, yeah, I'm going to be on the radio tonight. Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, yeah, better be prepared for the opportunity than working to that.
Yeah, like just the one thing is, I mean, everyone goes down this thing whereby, and I talk to a lot of business owners about this as well, and it's just that there's a pattern of I don't call it, I don't dismiss it and call them excuses, right? But there's a pattern of explanations as to why they don't create more content, and it's normally I don't have enough time, or it's going to be I don't know how to use platforms, so they might just if they're 16, 17, these kids, they know what they're doing, I'll give it to them to do, for example. Or they have this thing where they don't even want to be on camera themselves, or they just don't want to be the person with their phone out taking pictures of their own stuff because they're paranoid about what other people think about them. You know, a lot of these reasons, they're interpersonal. That's all they really are. Like the other day, there was a guy who was telling me he can't. I had this for a long time. I couldn't have the hold of the camera and the hold of my phone in my hand and talk to like, hi guys, I'm over here and I'm over there and doing all this sort of stuff. You have to try and train yourself to break out from that. And more often than not, the reason why we don't do it is because we just feel really vulnerable to the fact that someone's going to say, who does he think he is? Did you see him? We make up these excuses in our head, actually. It's all in the brain right now. It's, I'll plug up some content and X, Y, and Z will probably say, who does he think he is? They might just laugh at my bit of content or whatever it is. So we have all these reasons plumbing in our heads why not to do it. And when your brain functions in a way where it only just accepts things as two things, pain and pleasure. If this is going to cause me pain, I'm just going to stay away from it. So people shy away from creating their own content because they think, what's someone else going to think? So I always say this: make your content, create your content, plug it up there. The world is watching. They might not be liking everything you do. They might not be commenting every time you put something up, but just do it, because the day's going to come when someone says to you, when a real person says to you, whether it mean business, and it'll be like, so what have you done? All you need to do is just show, here's my profile, for example, or here's my gallery, or whatever it is. So have this record of what you've done. And all content doesn't have to be buy my stuff. It can be problems that you're having in the business, or how you fixed a certain problem. It can be a location where you're working today. For example, for builders, they work in different locations. One piece of content might be, I'm in Norfolk today, whatever. But just create content, keep it going, and just don't stop. And stop overthinking, man. We overthink way too much, just as people. And I think sometimes as Brits, see, part of British culture is we're a little bit reserved. It's a touch reserved. I find British culture can be a little bit like that. It's not as extroverted as American culture. American culture is all about being sometimes the loudest person in the room, and showing your dominance where you are, for example. But sometimes as Brits, we don't like to give ourselves too much attention. Like, we don't have, and you can see in our fighters. So generally with boxers and MMA fighters, for example, British fight. I'm a big fan of these sort of things, but it's clearly that's why I use them as references.
Yeah, no problem.
We don't. British fighters don't really. British fighters don't come out the gate saying, "I'm gonna knock everybody out. I'm the best there is, the best there was," and they don't come out the gate like that at all.
Well, except if they're Tyson Fury.
Except if they're Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though. See, Tyson Fury now, he comes from a gypsy culture, so part of his culture is a fighting culture. Part of his culture is to be like, we'll knock anybody out. So, you see, that comes back to culture again. So when you have this British culture, which is a bit reserved, you know, because another part of British culture is we like to take the piss at each other. We love taking the mick out of each other. It's the most British thing to do, actually.
Look, everyone likes a little bit of banter. Let's say no more.
You know what I'm saying? We love a bit of banter, and we love to poke fun at each other. And that's one thing, yeah, because you have to realize the kind of places we are, right?
Mm.
You know, some other cultures aren't like that. I know in certain cultures, when you can continually have, you know, banter or take the mick out of someone or all the time,
Yeah.
they're thinking, yo, dude, have we got a problem here? Is that what it is? And then we'll have to have a fight over it and everything, and, you know, draw blood. But like I said, as part of British culture, we like to poke a bit of fun at each other. Now, what happens is because we know some of that, it kind of stops us from producing content where we are on the camera. And the thing is, look, if you're not, if it's too much to be on camera, okay, then you don't have to do that. Actually, in fact, you could be an audio of your thing, so you can record your voice, and you've got, for example, stock video that you could use if you need a video element to it, or you could film outwardly rather than having yourself on the thing and voice over. There's something to defeat whatever insecurity a person has. But I think once somebody or anybody breaks away from, you know, I don't care what anybody thinks. I tell you something now, there's nobody more confident than, I remember when I was in New York, and this is confidence at its level best. I remember I was in New York, I was like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And back in the days when there was an Our Price megastore or a Virgin megastore, you know those ones, yeah? When people used to buy CDs and things like that.
Yeah.
Things like things that pass now.
It's like, yeah. You remember Our Price and Tower Records? Yeah, you remember those Virgin stores? It's like rows of CDs. It's like,
yeah, there's a generation who don't know what a CD is right now. Other than they're probably putting to the PlayStation thinking, why doesn't this work?
It's like,
so I remember I was in one of these stores, and you know, back in the days, you could have obviously in the store they had the headphones there, and you could listen to an album. Now, okay, so what do? People like us, we usually go and we'll put the headphones in and listen to the song quietly to ourselves, maybe rock our head a little bit, for example, right? And I remember seeing this overweight lady, like she was hugely overweight.
Yeah.
And she was, I mean, and the clothes she wore were just super tight. So everything about her was Anwar. Just everything about her was just like, you know, what are you looking at? So when she put headphones in and she was listening to that music, you could just see her vibing with it. She was rocking with it. She was literally like, it didn't really matter who the hell was there. She was gonna vibe it out. She was gonna rock it out as much as she can. And I was like, wow. Like even I was craving this level of confidence. Like, where does it come from? And she doesn't even care what people think, what people are saying. She was just there, had her headphones in, and she was vibing. She was happy as hell. And that's what we really want to be. That, to be honest, she has, the way I looked at it was, I thought she's got it. Whatever it is that we need, she's got it. You know, when you have that feeling, doesn't matter who it doesn't really care. I don't really care what people think, what people say. I'm just gonna go do it. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna be me. That's what I'm gonna do. And that's freedom, man. That's freedom. Once you've got that under your belt, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, like I understand that, and like, you know what I mean, with people being slightly reserved, like, yeah, you want me to do the whole camera thing, and like, yeah, I would love to say everyone's got the spirit of that lady in New York, rocking away, like singing everything like this. But like, yeah, you mentioned like just doing like people doing like voiceover for what they might be doing, and I can imagine if they were doing voiceover, if they were a builder of how they were working on a particular project in a house or anything like that, how that could be really effective for them. Would you say to that builder or say like bricklayer to go, okay, put this up on a particular platform? Or would you just say, like, you know what I mean, put it everywhere? What would be your thoughts on
No, if I know I do. If I was a builder, right? If I was a builder, 1,000. I trust me. You know, if I was a builder right now, 1,000%, I'd be doing small little videos of how tos.
that?
And I'm not talking about how to construct an extension.
Yeah.
You know, basic things: how to change a chub lock, how to change a door handle, how to change the plug, how to, for example, there's really easy hacks. Not even hacks actually. There's really easy maintenance things that everyone should need to know. Right?
Mm.
I mean, just a prime example. This is a little bit, yeah. This is about house maintenance stuff, so this might be interesting to somebody.
Hey.
So for example, okay, so if you find that, you know, when you're at home, and this happens to some people, they might turn a switch on, and then their fuse box, all the switches just trip.
Yeah.
They all just trip in one go. Now people start panicking. They think, oh my god, my electrics go down the pan. If I turn it on again, will it blow up? Will it explode? And everything else. How will I do it? They call the electrician up. And the electrician's like, yeah, I'll be over there. It'll probably looking at about £200 and blah 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 blah, right? And because we're desperate,
I've got to say, I do like the electrician's accent you put on.
I work for a lot of trades. Oh, yeah, even sometimes they put it onto me like that as well, right? So, and he'll be like, yeah, it'll be £200, mate. And then I remember, when you talk to enough laborers or even professionals or craftsmen, you find out exactly what they're doing. And I'm always interested. I'm always intrigued. And in that scenario, all this gentleman is going to do is turn off all the lights in the house, for example, and then one by one, he's going to switch them all on and see which one causes the trip.
Mm-hmm.
When he finds that one, then he's going to fix it by changing probably the fuse. Like that's easy. As a person, as a human being who owns a house, it's a nice skill to know and learn. It's not really, you have to be an expert, okay? But obviously, if you're not confident with electrics, you know, always call a qualified electrician, without a doubt. Okay. Now, as a tradesman, as a builder, I might do these simple little videos about how to. Now, if it's on my YouTube, for example, I might put a longer video on how to change a window, for example. There's always someone who's looking to, you have to remember, YouTube has now become the #1 search engine for how to. People learn much more better visually watching, you know, how to change X, Y, and Z. As a builder, you create content, which is how to fix certain things, or it might be a common problem. So, for example, even when you have a water, for example, if a pipe bursts in your house, when pipe bursts in your house, people immediately respond to panic, and it's like, call the agent, call whoever up. I've got an emergency happening right now. The house is going to be flooded. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, hold on, wait. All you need to do right now is just turn the water off, and you can do that by just going outside your house. There's a little box outside your house. Normally says Thames Water on it. Pick that up. Thames Water have kindly left a little key in there for you to just turn your water off, and that's all. And once that water's turned off, you can call whoever you need to come out and get things done. Now, back to my point. I ramble, bro. I've had too much caffeine. I go this way.
So, hey, man, you're all good in my books. You're good in my books.
So, like I was saying, was if you create a bunch of how-tos, how to repair this, how to fix that, that sends us into another conversation. Because when I follow some of this content, and more often than not, it'll come back round in circles anyway. If I look at your YouTube page, and your YouTube page might tell me you've got a website, or it might tell me you've got a Facebook page, I might check out the website, for example, and I've seen these other things that you do. Because when it comes, especially builders with builders, their marketing tends to be the worst, right? Builders have some of the worst marketing because they're a high-priced item, without a shadow of a doubt. You're going to do an extension, you're looking to depart with the best part of £40,000 to £50,000. It's not cheap. People take out loans to get these things done, for example. Now, if I'm selling a £40,000 to £50,000 product, but you go on my social pages and all you can see is just me, you know, just taking a little bit of content here and there, just the odd apartment, the odd dormer that I did, or the odd extension I created, for example. Now, customers need to feel satisfied or they need to feel secure. I'm going to give this guy the best part, £50,000. And as a builder, your worst nightmare is someone who comes in, takes half the money, and doesn't come back again.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's another situation, another example, for example, and this is another one that builders love to do. We love to do this whole thing where we cross-quote everyone as consumers. I'll get a quote from X, Y, and Z. And then one guy comes in with a super cheap quote. And I'm like, what? that's a nice deal. That's how much I thought it should be, really. And this
Mm.
happened to a friend of mine, £50,000 job, which it should be. The builder comes in, he goes, I'll do it for 38,000. So my guy's natural response was, I'm gonna go with you because you are the cheapest. So, and that's what he did. Now, what happens is this: the builder goes in, he's done all his digging, and he's crazy. He's made a building site of everything. Then he comes back to the homeowner and says, "Boss, man, you know what? I've realized something. I've miscalculated this project. Now, if I stay here, I'm going to end up losing money. Or the other option is I just go right now, and we'll just leave it as it is." Now he knows he's got you in a bind.
Yeah.
Right? It's checkmate now. So more often than not, my guy was like, "So what's the difference in price?" He put an extra £10,000 on top of the price. So now that quote, which you thought was super, super cheap, just became super, super normal, super, super average, actually. It's what everybody else was talking. And now that's the kind of thing that will destroy your reputation.
Yeah.
It will kill your reputation, right? And some people aren't, a lot of the builders, for example, they don't market themselves well enough to say you're in good hands. I'm here for you. You know, I mean, it's a brand thing. It gets quite complicated because, you know, we look at, when we can go down this rabbit hole of branding, because branding means everything. Branding is the difference of paying £5 for a bottle of water and paying 50p for a bottle of water. Because sometimes that brand releases something, it tells you, I'll give you an example, right? You know, Nike, for example.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Nike, right? One thing Nike never does is Nike doesn't say to you, buy our latest trainer or buy this, buy that. We've got the new Nike Air Max, blah, blah, coming out. They never, ever sell you that dream. In fact, what Nike do is they sell their brand, and their brand ethos is impossible is nothing, for example. Was it Adidas? Was it Nike?
Nike's ethos, just do it. I
I
can't.
think like just do it. Then there was the Colin Kaepernick one, for example, about believing your dreams and even if no one does, for example. So what they were doing was they were selling their brand ethos, their brand kind of message of about perseverance and being the best you can be. Now they're not saying if you buy our Nike trainers you'll become a super duper footballer. They're just saying buy our trainers without even telling you to buy the trainers. They're selling this idea. So then now let's say, okay, let's go back to this builder now, for example. So you're a builder, you charge top whack money because you're one of the best. Because every time you see your customers, you tell them, I'm all about quality and I'm all about aftercare.
Yeah.
But if I go to your page or go to your website, I've seen no reviews. I can see no real images there. I can't see any pictures. I can't see any work you've done. I can't see much of anything other than stock footage potentially. It's horrible. It's just, it's like you're losing the sale off the back of not producing enough content, basically.
Something I don't understand, like I've never seen this. Maybe it's because I'm not in the sort of realm of looking for builders or anything like this, or a decorator or a plumber. Yeah. Like I've never actually seen like a plumber like go, or a builder or anyone like go, you know what, can you just simply give me like a 30-second or a minute sort of like testimonial from a happy customer on video? So it's like, yeah, or have a number of like different like customers that go, yes, blah, blah, blah. Like Billy the builder was like exceptionally good. Like he's built an extension on time for the cost he's did. There was an issue, but he rectified that in good order. But you never really see that, like especially with regards to like for the last 5-10 years, like, you know what I mean, video had like everyone could do a video from their phone easy enough, you know what I mean? It's not, you don't even need to have the most complicated phone, but if you had a builder what did that and then uploaded it either to their website, YouTube channel, or something like, or wherever their social media is.
Even if your website, for example, even if you had like a static website, which basically said we're builders, we do X, Y, and Z, and had your social media like links underneath. This is my Facebook, this is my Instagram, this is my whatever, right?
Yeah.
If you guide me through it, like for example, if I just see those links, when I see those links, I click on those links anyway, straight away. I'm like, okay, what's his Facebook saying? What's his Instagram saying? And then when you see this body of work, or you see you see some behind the scenes, you might even see the funny stuff this guy does, for example. Like they might have a funny TikTok. And I've seen some of the builders who do this. They're just having fun. Now, what happens is it just produces an element of, though as a consumer you're laughing at something,
Mm.
it almost brings up this human side, because when we go and see customers, whether you're builders, wherever it is, you never really meet the person you set out to see. You're just meeting their spokesman, the person who's actually representing them really well. Oh yeah, we're fantastic. We're the best builders in the business, and we're this and we're that. And then when he comes on site, he's effing and blinding and grabs a cups of tea, and he's a different person now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So when you show who you are as well in your content, and you're just generally and look, there's no shortage of tools right now. We live in this world of information. I can't edit videos. You go on this thing, it's called Google. You just write how to edit videos on iMovie. If you've got an iPhone, everyone has iMovie on there.
Mm.
iMovie it's a nice basic piece of software you can use, and boom, you just use that. Learn a few tricks and a few techniques, and overall, it's not that hard. And that's why lockdown was this beautiful period where you could either sit down, take a step back, and be okay, what do I need to do? What can I skill up on, and things like that. Or it was, just Netflix and chill and sit in my pajamas until I'm asked to do some work. And that was the thing. That was the. Some people went more onto their podcast. Some people went more creating more content. Some people just went ham onto something, and others just thought, I'll just take this period to wind down then, or to chill out. And there's nothing wrong with either of them. Sometimes it might be good to listen to that voice. You might work crazy hours. You might be in a very stressful job, and maybe just sitting around doing nothing for a few days or a few weeks might be the best thing your body needs to recover. Sit in the garden, read a book. You might be like, there's things that we haven't done for so long because life is so busy. And that's why lockdown felt like a beautiful period. I remember, the air got cleaner, for example. People spent more time with their family, and they realized how much they were missing, and, life slowed right down again. So, let's be who we are as well. That helps. I mean, when we grew up, we never wanted to grow up into becoming these highly stressed people in our mid-30s, wondering where did it all go wrong or whatever it is. People carry around with them dreams about doing something or launching a product or launching a service or whatever it is. Right now, it's a level playing field. If you want to launch a product or service, you can do it right now. You could learn anything you want. Like, when you look at things in abundance rather than looking at things as if they're going to run out, it's different. It feels different altogether. I'll give you an example. Like yesterday, this conversation I had with this guy about his specs, that whole business, right?
Yeah.
His whole thing was, and he acknowledged it, that he hasn't really gone ham in on it. He was still toying with the idea, and he was going to set up like another business to see how that was going to work.
Mm.
And what I asked him was, I go, look, and I picked this up from somewhere else. I can't remember, man. But I remember I picked this up from somewhere else, and I asked him, if you knew your business was going to be worth £2 million in the next 5 years, how hard would you work for it now? He's like, yeah, bro, I'd be in it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe if you just thought of it like that, some fire might come in from somewhere. Whereby if you knew you was working on £1 million project, like this is 3 years down the line, my product, my service is going to be worth, £5 million. If you knew that for a fact, you would work your butt off day and night to make it happen.
Yeah. Like, this is the thing. I think when some people think like that, it comes down to a lack of faith and belief in what they sometimes are doing. Because if you had belief and faith, this is where it's going. This is where it's going to end up at the end of the day. Nothing will stop you. Because when you said, yeah, if I told you your business will be in 2 years' time making £2 million, he was like, yeah, I'll be there. Blah, 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 no problem at all.
Yeah. I'll be there. He was like, I'll be there yesterday.
I'll be there. Have faith in your abilities and your skills and the belief that this is going to come together, and go for it. And look, uncertain times we're in right now for sure, but it comes down to, you've got to have that faith in yourself. You've got to have that belief.
Right now, look,
this is there.
Right now, you can test things right now. You can test products. You can test an idea that you might have. Just set up a page, set up some content around that product or service. You don't have to quit your day job right now. You can still run your day job and just, work on something, if it's a product or a service, whatever it is, put it to some sort of, put it out there. Now, I remember I used to work underneath this gentleman, and I learned most of everything. I know everything from him. He was an entrepreneur himself. He was like in his early 50s, short guy. He was like 5'4", 5'5". He wasn't a loud, brash character, nor did he dress flash or do anything like that. He was the opposite. Dressed very modest, spoke very quietly, but he was very shrewd, and he was very focused, actually. He was very focused kind of person. Occasionally you'd get a joke or laugh out of him, but he was a serious guy, right? And I used to do his admin. Quite literally, he would say to me, I used to do my admin work. So I was like an admin assistant, and I would have this window into his life whereby he had several care homes, he had several properties, he had dollars, like hundreds of thousands of dollars in a certain account. And this guy was a moneymaker. Like, he was a serious moneymaker, clearly. I could see from his books, and I'd hear him in conversations, and he'd be like, put the phone down and call him back. And I remember one time I was properly managing one of his properties. It was like a house share, and the people there were complaining that the Wi-Fi hadn't been set up just yet. And me, in my infancy in the business, was like, man, look, just wait. It's going to come to you. You calling me up all the time doesn't make it any quicker, for example. And my guy was listening to this, goes, look, Kamran, stop the call and just send me a call back. And then he said to me, look, Kamran, when you speak to someone like that, don't look at your tenants as they're paying you. They're paying you because they're your customers, my man. They need to be with you. You don't have to, there's not a wall of where you think your landlord's the top dog and my tenants are the village people that keep paying us. Look at my level playing field, treat them the same. And he said, when you call him back, say to that person, what are your top 3 problems? Just say that to him. What are your top 3 most biggest problems in that house? He list all of them up and say to him, I'm going to deal with it. Don't argue with him. I thought, that makes sense. Now, this gentleman, I kind of digressed a little bit, sorry. Now, this gentleman, we went out for lunch one day, and I had to ask him, like, look, man, what does it take to be as kind of like successful as yourself? This is years back. So you can ask direct questions when you're a bit younger. So I was like, how do you become so goddamn rich, man?
Yeah.
And this was the only time he ever swore. Okay, so this is a little parental advisory moment, like warning. It's not a big swear word. But he was like, in business, you need balls. He just dropped it to me like that. All right. And really, he goes, that's all you need. He goes, in business, losing money is the most easiest thing in business. The most hardest thing in the world is to make money for your business. And you need balls to basically realize that what you're doing is going to change someone's life, or it's going to change something. But if you're playing with the idea, he goes, you'll never make it. And he gave me this example of, like, there was, generals back in the day, there was, if you ever see like some ancient warfare stories, and you hear of these stories where these generals these are back in the days with, boats and stuff, right? And they would land on this island, and it was like, either we take the island or we die here. And they would just burn their boats. They would burn all their boats, and the general would look at his soldiers and just be like, either we take over the island or we die on the island. And that level of like commitment, where basically they're just saying, I'm all in, whatever it takes, whatever's happening, I'm there. Sometimes you need that you need that in you. That's the fire you need that could take everything you do to the next level. Because a lot of the time with business, you make a bit of money. If you're starting off any sort of little business, you could make a bit of money. Let's say you made an extra $2,000 at the end of the month. Okay, so you got a salary, you made an extra $2,000. So now you're like, I made an extra $2,000. So you may just spend £1,500 of that same month, right? And tucking a £500 away, for example, because you're celebrating this extra income. But really and truly, for any business to flourish, grow, and develop, whatever money you start making, you got to pour it back in again. You just keep pouring it back in again, where it's like, I need more staff if I have to get more staff. I'll hire someone to get more staff because I'll spend more money on this person here, but then at least I will be more free to do other things. Like The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss is a phenomenal book. And there's a reason why a lot of people reference that book.
Yeah.
The 4-Hour Work Week, I'm going to hear somewhere, bro. I'm going to do this cliche thing that people do where they're like, I've actually got it in my collection.
Oh, well, please do, sir. Please
got
do.
it in my collection too. Yeah, 4-Hour Work Week, blah, blah, blah. Now, what Tim Ferriss does in this book is he explains there's 2 different types of wealth, right? there's relative wealth, I think you mentioned, and there's like sort of, God, put it this way. If you were working 40 hours a week
Yeah.
and earning £52,000 a year, would you be happy? Most people be like, yeah, it's a full-time job and a decent salary. But he was like, what if you was working only 4 hours a week, but you made like 30 grand? And if you're happy with that, and there are people out there I know who are just happy working a few hours a week, making average amount every month, then that's me happy. Like, I'm comfortable with that. I don't need to stress myself out. I spend more time with my family, and people have different wants and needs. Nobody needs to be a busybody, or not everybody wants to be like, I'm hustling hard here, bro. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm really hustling. I'm hustling, and I'm hustling, and I'm hustling. Like, you don't have to always be that guy. Now, one of the things that Tim Ferriss was trying to say in his book is that you can outsource a lot of these things that you don't need to do. Like, there's channels like Fiverr and Upwork. There's a bunch of them right now, yeah, where you can just have somebody. There might be someone living in the Philippines, maybe someone in Thailand, or it tends to be South Asia, or even parts of Eastern Europe, where obviously for them, currency conversion rates, if you give somebody like £50 a month, that's like an annual salary for someone. Like, sorry about that. That's like someone's average, that's someone's monthly salary, for example. For us, it's £50, but for them,
Yeah.
it's like the month is sweet. With so much of our day-to-day, you can outsource it to someone else. So, for example, I might outsource a virtual assistant to just do things like in property management. Can you list this property on several platforms? Can you put this description down? Here's an inventory. I'll take all the pictures and I'll ping it over to you. Can you fill the inventory out? Filling in forms and chasing people up on emails and things like that. Because when you break away from a lot of things you don't need to do, you can concentrate on your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, basically, what you and Tim Ferriss is saying, it's like everyone's got a certain amount of bandwidth they work with on a day-to-day basis. The more you can, like, the more you outsource, like, okay, yeah, basically, yeah, can you deal with putting up this post on this website, doing this for me here, doing that for me there? You're sort of freeing up more of your bandwidth. So, technically, if you look at yourself as a whole entity, you're doing more than 4 hours a week, but you're like you're just freeing up all your bandwidth. So when it comes down to what you personally need to do, it works out to be something like, it could be 4 hours or maybe a little bit more. Or if you're really down with it hard, it could be a lot less. But yeah,
Because when you set up a business, for example, right, you wear so many different hats all the time. You got to have your accountant hat on, which is like money coming in, money coming out.
Yeah.
You have your marketing hat on to say, how do I get the voice out of the business? Then you've got your admin hat on, which is just doing the general stuff, putting an email here and confirming something here. Then you've got the other hat on, which is meeting clients and trying to square a deal up with somebody. So you're wearing all these different hats all times of the day. Now, it's a cliche, but you have to watch out for it. It's basically when what does it say? When you're working for the business, not the business working for you. Because you can set up your own company and you could get crazy busy. Then what happens is you're so busy that you can't grow the business. You're just busy managing the business now.
Yeah.
And at that point, you need to just start giving off some responsibility to someone. And as entrepreneurs and as business owners, sometimes we have a hard time doing that because we don't trust somebody else to do it the way we used to do it. I do it a certain way. They might not take it as seriously as I do. It's like property management. You can be on call any time of the day. Now, when you own and run the business, you might get a call on and you'll be like, yep, I got to respond to this, for example. But when you're working for somebody, and we've all been there, 6 o'clock, bro. I don't work after 6:30 or whatever it is. I'm answering this call right now.
Yeah.
I'll talk to them later. Yeah, level of commitment isn't there, for example. But then, as a business owner, you're thinking, can I hand in that responsibility or not? The answer is, like, sometimes you're going to have to be the football manager who says, I need you to do this. I need you to excel. Perfect example, Manchester United, Alex Ferguson, right? If anybody reads a book on leadership, read the one that Alex Ferguson wrote. It's about leadership, actually. Alex Ferguson, who takes this company, and I'm not even a big Man United fan by a long shot. Yeah.
At least
But
mention Man United leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. But that's another story.
but
Please,
look at
please carry on.
but look what Man United do, right? They win championship after championship. They're
Yeah.
killing it. They were like the dream team, smashing goals, records, left, right, and center. And then Alex Ferguson leaves. Like the team is still the same team. You've got the same players. Alex and Ferguson, he walks off, bye-bye. I recommend someone else to jump in. He can do a great job.
Yeah.
And then Man United just descend into losing. And they lose game after game. They were losing against lesser-known teams. It was just, it was shocking what was unfolding before our very eyes. And they'd get another manager. I mean, they'd find another manager. Okay, you come in now, my man. You got to fix this. And he couldn't fix it. And then you realize that your team's success, it comes down to the guy in charge. It's got nothing to do with the players anymore. It's about you. You're the one in charge. So if you do have employees and they're not up to speed, for example, you know, you don't say to yourself, so-and-so person is ruling my business. No, man, you're the guy at charge. You're the guy who takes, you're the guy in charge right now. Either you're going to inspire this person or lead them to kind of like follow your direction or work the way you want to work, or you let them go, or you train them, or you find or you try and do something to bring about, you know, that enthusiasm to do something for. I don't know, you might be selling shoes, for example. I'll give you an example. I'll give you another example, right? Walmart, right? My cousin, I've got cousins in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Now, one of my cousins, he works for Walmart and he eats, sleeps, and breathes Walmart. It's in his blood, right? Seriously. Because I would go there and I would just poke him a little bit, like how Walmart, they don't pay taxes, bruv.
Yeah.
They be so less, and you're taking advantage of disadvantaged people, for example. And he would take it really seriously, right? He would take, he was not taking this as a banter, right? And he would say to me, he goes, no, Cam, he goes, the Walmart family, and he calls it the Walmart family. It's not even just Walmart. He goes, as part of the Walmart family.
Anyone who says that, don't mess with them. Don't mess with them.
You know what I'm saying?
The Walmart family, Cam. Oh, okay. You know what?
So he goes, so what he said to me was this, right? He goes, in our offices, the laptops that they use are like average laptops, even below average. They almost look like they're secondhand laptops.
Yeah.
He goes, we hardly have enough stationery in the office. We're encouraged to bring our own as much as possible, right? And I'm like, that sounds ridiculous, my man. I know guys who go to work, and if you provide them with a pen, they're like, I'm not going to work now. I'm lacking equipment here. Right?
Walmart is one of the largest companies in the world. Okay, you know, and stationery is literally everywhere. There is.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I said to him. But what he said to me was this. He goes, but you understand, Kamran. He goes, Walmart family spend more money, and this is how they also teach their workers. We spend as much money as possible on buying quantity of items so we can sell them ridiculously cheap. And then what they do is they have an example, like, I was going to say Karen, but we can't use that name anymore. We'll call her Janet, right?
Okay, yeah.
Like, Janet is a single mom with four kids, and she's got 3 jobs. And it's only because of Walmart's low prices that she can make sure her babies have Pop-Tarts and Rice Krispies and da-da-da-da. So now the Walmart employee, when he's working from another spot now. He's working from a place where I'm making a change. I'm making a difference. I'm helping Janet, the lady out there who's low income, who needs support, whose family needs help. And Walmart have these other little arms of theirs, which is to help low-income families and to do things for less privileged families, stuff like that. So now, when he works for them, he's working from somewhere else. It's not just my 9 to 5, I come and I go. And I'm sure there's people in the Walmart clique who are like that anyway. But when you tap into that, another prime example, Apple stores. Have you seen an Apple store opening?
I have seen an Apple store opening, but just briefly. But the time I've actually seen Apple go mad is every time
they go nuts, right? I'm talking about the employees. I'm not talking about the people working. I'm talking about the employees. before the launch, they're getting riled up. They're all in the zone. So
Yeah.
as soon as the doors open, they're all like, "Hey,
Uh,
welcome into Apple," and blah 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 blah. And more often than not, as an employer, man, that's what you wish, that you had employees like that who just turn up to work or like, "Hey, we're here to change your lives," and
yeah.
they give it 100,000%. But you're not always going to have that. You're not always going to get that. You have to always remember what it was like when you was working for somebody. Chris Rock said it best, actually, right? Because the difference between a job and a career is when you've got a job, you go to the staff toilets and you spend as much time as possible in there.
Yeah.
When you've got a career, there's just not enough hours in the day to get stuff done. And that's where you need to go. If you're working from a place where, man, I need to go out there and to to make it happen. I feel this vibe, you've got this fire, and it's all right to have the fire calm down occasionally. You might go up and down, but if you're trying to set up your own business and you don't believe in it yourself and you're just toying with the idea, you're just kind of flirting with it a little bit, and I'll do a thing here and there. It's just never going to go up. And then you'll just basically make an excuse saying, it wasn't my fault, the market was rubbish, and, this business doesn't work because people weren't supporting me, my friends and family hate me, whatever.
Yeah, no, this is the thing. Yeah. Like the whole thing is, yeah, very true. Like no one actually realizes how hard starting a business is until they're actually in it. Because I remember friends like going when they like went, yeah, I'm going to start a business. I'm like, back in the days when it was all like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, all naive and everything like this. Oh yeah. Oh, you'll be your own boss. You'll have time to do this. You'll have time to do that. You can you know what I mean? You won't be chained to like a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday gig. You know what? That is absolutely true. You are not chained to a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 gig. The thing what everyone forgets, and when you get that slap of reality is, it's Monday to Sunday, and that can vary from basically, if you're lucky, 8 hours a day, but it's on the worst days, it could be 12, 14.
Easy.
And then days upon days upon days. No one tells you this. Like you kind of like, oh yeah. And every time someone says that, there's always someone in the background like listens to it and goes, yeah, okay. You'll learn. Watch when it comes for you. You're like, okay. And like, yeah, I've seen friends which are like, yeah, I'll see you. When will I see you next?
Yeah. Sometimes when you start running your own business, your circle gets even smaller because you spend more time on it. Sometimes sometimes you get obsessed with your business and what you're doing. You have to have this careful position whereby, sometimes we have this thing where I'm super, super busy. I'm crazy busy. I'm hustling. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm working 60 hours a week or whatever. Now, you can be busy doing nothing as well. Like you can be busy doing things which aren't really doing anything. Like, a prime example, I want to make a logo for my brand before I launch the company, or I want a company name. So they spend like 3-4 days, or even a week, trying to figure out a name for the business. What should I call it? I want to have something snazzy. And then they ask 100 people, should I call it this? Should I call it that? And they're like, nah, it's a rubbish name. That's a good name. Oh, I hate that name. I like that name. And they're just constantly asking someone else, like, what should I do? Is that a good logo? Is it this, is that? Now, the grand scheme of things, those things were redundant, really. Having the logo and even if you had a most bare basic name, it doesn't really do anything for the business. Like, it doesn't do much at all. I mean, Nike is just called Nike. What does Nike mean?
Yeah, no, but like, with Nike, have you ever read the book of the founder of Nike, Shoe Dog?
Yeah. Shoe Dog, yeah. So it's about the Nike was the Greek god of Athena, wasn't it?
It was, Greek goddess of victory. But like, when he first went over to Japan, like to like sort of like start things off before Nike was like even even a thing, it was like he was in a meeting talking to like this high board of like shoe producers, and it was like, yeah, what is the name of your company? And he was just there, going, uh, and on that spot, because like I can't remember exactly how he came up with it. He went, yeah, Blue Ribbon. That's the name of our company, Blue Ribbon. I was like, okay, yeah. But it wasn't like, okay, he didn't have a name, didn't have like, all he wanted to do was sell Japanese shoes into the American market because they were the best sort of type of running shoes at that time. But it was just like, yeah, Blue Ribbon. And off they went. They sold Tiger shoes under the name of Blue Ribbon. And that was just like right there on the spot. Just like, I needed a name. And yeah, Blue Ribbon.
Yeah. No, and that's it. And the business goes, because what really matters is what the business does, and does it do it to a great standard. Like, we obviously, in the age of social media, we can call people's rubbish out as quickly as we can see it now. It's like you're always open to be called out, and we know people on social media who just fake it to show that they're running this super extraordinary life, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Now, like for example, I was looking at, in my local area, I was looking at people who were in the creative industry, who are into branding, or someone who said they were graphic designers, who said they were web developers.
Yeah.
And I'd go through their websites, right? And now one guy was, I'm a web developer. I sell websites and I sell branding, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at this guy's website and I'm like, this is a basic WordPress website you've used it. And this is like the basic website. I can tell this is the basic WordPress. This isn't even the good WordPress stuff.
Yeah.
You've got basic WordPress. You're telling me that you can do branding, but yet your own branding looks horrendous. Your own website isn't even that great. So, like, who are you fooling now, really? Like, who are you trying to fool? Just because you wrote those words on a webpage doesn't mean I'm going to believe that now. As consumers, we're always being sold something, like, all the time. Like, we speak about things and then Google has it up on our screen, and like, we're constantly being told to buy all the time. So as consumers, we can call people's bullshit out. We can see it, like, yeah, it's no, man, that's rubbish. I don't want that. I don't need that. Or they ask questions. And sometimes as a business owners, we get defensive. I mean, I've seen it. Somebody might put something up on a group. I've got these sunglasses for sale, or I'm launching this food from home business, and then somebody will be like, where's your certificate? Are you licensed? Are you approved? Which are sensible questions.
Yeah.
But the responder who made the post was like, oh, well, look, if you're not interested, you don't have to be so hateful. It's like, don't go there, dude. Just like answer the question, be good about it, be cool about it. You're the owner of the business. Now, if you're rebutting people with anger, sort of like, if you don't like it, then don't speak. It just makes me less inclined to do business with you now. I'm seeing this ugly side of you now. Just keep it fresh, keep it professional, and just, answer people in the right way. You're a business at the end of the day. You're not doing, sometimes as business owners, it's the way you look at things. Some people look at their customers as they need me. And the customers look at the business owner like he needs me. Obviously, they will. The thing is, it's an exchange of goods between both of us. We all need each other.
Yeah.
The marketplace is the most natural thing as humans. I went to, Calais, the jungle, when there was a refugee camp over there.
Yeah.
I visited Calais. This is when everybody all the refugees were they were kind of like. I remember going to the jungle, and what you find is, now when you have human beings, and this is the perfect case study of all of humans on a bit of land and what they do with it now, because they were just all detained in this one piece of Calais. And what you find is when you go there, that some of these guys, they set up little marketplaces. You'd find somebody who would have made, from planks of wood, they would have made some sort of shop front. There might be a guy who's a barber. He might have brought his barbering kit with him, and he might be selling it really cheaply to each person. There were people there who would walk out of the Calais camp, and I think Calais is known for like being for exports and stuff. They'd go to the corner shop or the newsagents and buy like bottles of water, bottles of drink, and then come back to the jungle and have a little wooden shop front and sell things from there. So you have this marketplace that kind of grows.
Yeah.
As human beings, that's what we do. When you settle somewhere, I think what humans do, they normally have a place of worship, and they make a shop. They have a barbers and they have a butchers. Like those 4 services straight away, depending where you're from, I guess. But generally, those 4 services are the first things to happen,
Okay.
like naturally.
Like, how did you find out they were doing this over in the jungle in Calais?
No, I was there. I went to the jungle.
Yeah.
So when you're there, because we were visiting and we were distributing food over there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a company out there called Refugee Kitchen, I think they were called. And these are all volunteers. They go there off their own back with funding from whoever they can find it. They make meals and they go to the jungle and they dish them out because they don't have any other help. The state obviously doesn't need to help them.
Yeah.
And politically, obviously, the citizens around there were hateful towards them. So they were cocooned in this zone. But like I said, as you walk around, you see these guys who've just made little markets out of them. They made these little shop fronts and they were selling anything from sweets to little bags of milk, phone chargers, and maybe little phones you might want to buy, because when you leave your country, people do go with their cash, obviously, don't they? When you're leaving, you take your money with you. And there were people selling things there. They would be selling nappies, selling things we're going to need anyway. But it's almost like you have this set of humans on a bit of land, and several of them became business owners right away. A bunch of them obviously became consumers straight away.
Yeah.
And it's interesting just how we develop like that. It's the most purest form of human development. As soon as we've landed somewhere, we end up bartering, and because like the word barter, I remember checking this out. The word barter is an exchange of services or an exchange of. It's not money. It's about me saying, "I'll give you coffee if you give me, I don't know, you give me silk or whatever it is." And that's what people are doing. And we've done this forever and ever and ever. You've given something and got something. And forever and ever and ever, as a business owner, you treat your customer like how you treat family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
And when you start hating your customers and hating your product, then you can't blame the market. You just have to blame yourself as to why this business is falling apart. And it goes back to like the whole Alex Ferguson thing. His book on leadership is phenomenal. I definitely highly recommend anyone to either get the audio book or read the book, because he's a perfect example that as soon as his influence had gone from a certain team, that fell apart. It completely fell apart.
Yeah, no, I think that's things people don't take into account of, like, the sort of plan, the plan, not so much the plan, more the vision, which is put in place by a person to make things happen. And when that vision is gone, like things where people seem sort of like organizations, teams which seem invincible, all of a sudden they become very frail very quickly.
Yeah, I set up a business called the Night Kitchen. I used to work when I was at university. I used to work on nightclub doors and do security work and things like that, right? Yeah. And obviously, a lot of these doormen, they're usually bodybuilding folk and like to stay quite healthy and built and everything else. But at that time of the night, the only food places that were open was going to be pizza or doner or just filthy, just takeaway food that they didn't want in line with their diet. So I made this business where I thought I would create these healthy, protein-rich meals, and I would just send them to door staff, and I would just sell them to the nightclub owners. Vegan-friendly meals, high-protein meals, everything was good to go. And what I did was I made a batch, and I visited practically every single club in Central London, and I said, here's a free box of food, eat it, give me some feedback, tell me what you think. And I just distributed loads of those. And then what happened was I got a bunch of phone backs. It was phenomenal for a little while, actually. I got a bunch of callbacks, which was, yeah, we love it. So next week they would order for the whole door staff, and the managers would order for themselves as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would be an expense for the club rather than their own personal expense. So then it was good for me, and they were keeping their staff happy by having these fresh, protein-rich meals. But for me, it doesn't work out well because it's a business which you do Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Your hours are 8 p.m. till 4 a.m. practically.
Well, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I think that was a business probably suited for someone who was just fresh and no kids, no wife.
Mm.
I mean, you imagine having a girlfriend or a wife and be like, we can't go anywhere for the weekend ever for the next 7 years because my business is to be, you know.
Well, that's pressure right there. And
Yeah,
not,
exactly.
not from the business side of things. So,
But what I remember was when I first started that business, when
yeah.
I first started making money, that was when it was my, you know, it's almost like, it was crazy because I didn't make much in the first couple. When it first started going, I
Mm.
must have made, in one weekend I made like £150, for example, right? And I remember looking at that cash thinking, I made this from nothing. Like, it was an idea, it was a concept, I made it into food, and now this money's presented itself. It was like, have you seen Castaway when when he makes fire? And he's like, I have made fire. And that's what it felt like at that moment. Like, I have this little bit of money in my hand, but you know, I created this, I made this
Mm.
happen. It's a different buzz, man. Like, people always tell you, you know, you make your first bit of money you make, no matter how much it is, when it's your business or your company or you sell something on eBay, whatever it was,
Mm.
the first bit of money you make is always the best feeling because it's literally the feeling of creating something from nothing, and nothing beats that, man.
Yeah, no, but that spark, that spark, you know what I mean? Just like, okay, I've made, wow, something from nothing,
Yeah,
as you just said, but it's like, wow, if I can do this, what else can I do? You know what I mean? It
and
opens
that's
that door.
and it gives you more confidence knowing you're onto something,
Mm.
whatever, and then you almost feel unbreakable now. You feel I can do anything now, and you ride that momentum, and you should ride momentum when you can. But then, you know, you have a couple of quiet weeks, then you think, you know, what the hell, this business, this ain't gonna work. What was I thinking?
Mm.
And then you might have that one person be like, yeah, I told you, bro, I told you this is not the business you want to be in. There's a lot of competition and blah 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 blah. See, like, another thing, if you're really careful of, is who you ask for, who you get business advice from.
Mm.
Like, there's certain people I'll never ask business advice from because I wouldn't say because they don't own a business. It's because I know they have a certain mindset, which is everything's gonna go to hell anyway. I mean, like, why are we here on this earth when we're just gonna die soon, aren't we? It's
Yeah.
just, they have this vibe off them. I remember there was one guy I was chatting about business once, and he was like, I mean, everything I would say, it was like, oh, bro, you shouldn't do that. There's loads of competition already.
Mm.
Competition in an industry, it doesn't mean anything, actually. It means nothing. I mean, estate agents. You throw a stone, you're landing on an estate agent. It's not stopping any of them from having another office opening up.
Yeah.
The way you run it compared to the way I run it are two different things. More customers might be more inclined towards you because they like you, how you done the deal,
Mm.
whatever you've done, for example, or they just get on with you much better. They think, yeah, I'm gonna go with Maya. Some might go with me, some might not go with me. It doesn't make a difference because at the end of the day, the marketplace is the marketplace, and the marketplace is going to decide your place within it.
Mm.
So if you're at the lower end, you're just not good at what you've done. You're not good at what you did. You're not good at what you're doing. So maybe change something or leave it. I mean, I generally give a business about 18 months before I decide to call it a day if it's going to do anything or not. And
Right.
that's just me. I'll give it 18 months, and if it's making money or I can feel this vibe that, yeah, this is going somewhere, I'll stick it out. If I've done 18 months of it, it's not really making money, some of the challenges are not worthwhile, then I'll walk away from it altogether. Like, I had a business idea once. I remember I was going to do something in Morocco. It was about, because loads of lads and Britain became like this thing where loads of Brits were visiting Morocco all of a sudden. Morocco was like this poor man's Dubai almost, whereby
Oh,
it was like, it was, it was like a 3-hour flight away, so it's not too far away. It was a nice easy jet kind of number, £100 a ticket.
yeah.
Yeah, 3-4 days in this enchanted world of Morocco, where it's a bit, you know, it's a different vibe from European vibe. It's a different culture, so you feel a bit. It's like you're out of the country, out of the world, but you're not too far from home either,
Yeah.
right?
I'm just picturing the TV commercial playing, like this, like, oh yeah, come to
Yeah,
come to Morocco.
yeah.
It's
So I
Dubai.
had this, yeah. So I had this thing where I thought, you know what, I would. So people that were going to Morocco, I would set up, because Morocco had loads of golf courses there,
Yeah.
and it's got loads of bars and restaurants, and people go there for weekends, stags, hen do's, and everything else. So I thought I'd make a company which would facilitate this. So if you guys had a stag, you guys would come and go for a weekend for a stag. Depending which age group you were in, I'd make sure you'd have a villa. I'd make sure you would have transportation. I'd make sure your restaurant was booked. I'd make sure that the golf you wanted to play was all booked in your name. Like, it's a concierge service, all been done for you.
Yeah.
And then, so I visited Morocco, and I remember I was making a few contacts. I started chatting to villa owners and just getting a vibe for the place. And the vibe I got was that this is not going to work over here. Because some of the things I found, just generally from my experience while I was there, and these are some of the business practices that I caught onto. So and these are small things, but for me, there were indications of large, they were like red flags to me. Like, so if you go to a restaurant, wherever the bill was, you'd give them the money for the bill, and they wouldn't come back with your change unless you specifically were like, yo, dude, where's my change? And I know it's, and I thought, yeah, look, there's nothing wrong with tipping, yeah, but there's everything wrong with automatically thinking I just tipped you everything, bro. So, like, it's obviously in the currency there was dinars, so it's like, let's say it's 100 dinars worth of change. My man wouldn't come back with it until I'm like, yo, bro, buy change, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it happened so often. He was like, oh, brother, sorry, I forget. And like, no, bro, you didn't forget. You did this to me yesterday, actually, right? So I look at these little things, and then I remember I spoke to one villa owner, and he gave me one price, but then that price changed quite quickly afterwards. Brother, actually, I made a mistake. What I really meant was this.
Yeah.
Now, imagine a business whereby you've got a bunch of British holidaymakers. They've come over to this villa, and the day you're about to book them in, the villa owner says to you, boss man, you know what? Someone else has booked it for a rate higher than yours. So if you match that price, I can give it to you. Otherwise, I can't help you. I'm sorry. Now, can you imagine what that would do to your reputation, your rating, your credibility?
Yeah, because like definitely if you agreed the price with the like tourist who's coming over to the villa, and you're acting as middleman, you've got to eat that cost because you agree the price. You can't turn around to them all of a sudden go, actually, it's more money. It's like, what are you trying to do?
No, this is not me. This is not me. Like, I mean, I'm not here to kind of like dump on all Moroccans and tell people you should never do business there.
Right.
But the reality is like this. For a setup like that to happen, unless you've actually got people there that you know, trust, and respect, then you could have that kind of flow. But if you're over here in England and you've got somebody over there in Morocco and it's a mutual benefit, you're both making money, for example, but he may have several arms to where he's making money from. For me, being in England, you're my only contact over there. I have to rely on you. This game of leverage is so far in favor on this side that if anything did go wrong, it just comes down on your head like a brickwork. So that's one of the reasons why I said, you know, this is probably for me. It's still a business out there. There are companies out there who are making good money doing the exact same setup. Me at that time, I just thought about it, and I thought, no, it's too risky for me to get into this business because I felt I couldn't make that one. I couldn't make that work, so I stepped away. But then again, you could fool yourself into thinking, yeah, it's gonna work, it's gonna work. Yeah, man. And you can fantasize about, yeah, we'll do like this, we'll do like that. But sometimes you've got to look at the reality of the picture, and you take risks, but those risks are kind of calculated to an extent where it's, the odds have to be in your hand.
No, I understand that, and like basically building a business on where everything's going to be variable down to what just coming down to the changing of the wind. That is no place to make a business. That is lunacy. But like, have you ever been in the sort of position where you've had a business, it's been making money, but for whatever reason you had to be like, you know what, it's making a tidy sum, but can't do it anymore? Or
the kitchen, the night kitchen was one of them. Because I was making good money, but it just wasn't conducive to my life at all. So, for example, I was running a real estate property management company from Monday to Friday anyway, or Monday to Saturday. And then on top of that, and that was my bread and butter money. And then you've got this concept, which is Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. So I'm finishing work Thursday night at like 4 a.m. to start work again Friday morning, then doing the Friday thing, doing the Saturday night thing, missing family events. I mean, I'm obviously having a wife and kids. I'm missing just spending time at home with the wife and just doing things, just, you know, having, just experiencing life actually.
Yeah.
Now, if I was a single man, no responsibility, you know, no one really saying to me like, "Daddy, we need you to be around here," then I would probably go ham on all that sort of stuff. I've always said that kind of business, and if anyone wants to take over from now, you're more than welcome to do it. I would say if you're a business guy and you have a chef, you link up with each other. I mean, I was lucky enough to have both skills.
Mm.
But if you have a chef, say, look, dude, you're my chef. I'll be the guy to get the contracts. Let's work together. There's a business in it. There's a market in it. Because even Uber Eats could go deliver to these places,
Mm.
but they're ridiculously, they're priced really, really high, obviously, Uber Eats. Now, if you had your own little kitchen set up, because, well, like I said, a lot of the guys who want to eat healthy, I remember one guy I used to work with, he would go over to Marks and Spencer's and just buy cold meat because he needed a certain protein intake to
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
his geek and blah, blah, blah. So it's still very much a business that could happen. I walked away from it because it wasn't conducive to my lifestyle at all. I couldn't see myself flourishing in this because it required far too much sacrifice that I wasn't willing to make. I can say that happily. But then, you know, there's other things I love doing. Even property management can be, see, to a large extent, property management can be hard to handle for a lot of people. For example, let's say you're making £75 to £100 per month
Yeah.
for each property that you're managing. Now, that money doesn't really mean anything until you've got at least 15, 20 properties under your belt. I mean, even if we're going to be generous, let's say you're making £100 from each property.
Mm-hmm.
You need at least 15 properties to be touching £1,500 a month in turnover. Forget just, and that's just your turnover, and that's your gross.
Mm.
Imagine when you start taking out the office rent and some of the software packages you might be lined up with, or some of the monthly platforms you're paying for, you're left with very, very, very little. Now, so you need to quantify that more. So you need more properties. So let's say you hit 20 properties or 30 properties. Okay, now you're making £3,000 a month. You've got a semi-decent salary now, and you're paying for the office and everything else. But how much time is now being put in? So, for example, you might be taking £100 a month from one property, but if you're spending like 20, 30 hours a month dealing with some of the issues, you know, phoning up plumbers, phoning up electricians, visiting the property, the tenant has an issue with something, the landlord doesn't want to deal with an issue, for example. So you're doing a lot of running around and a lot of everything for just this £100. So now, if you was to put a rate on that, you could be paying yourself like £3-4 an hour at this point now, because you're spending so much time around doing this and doing that. So now you've basically got a business which has captured you. You're running around to manage it all, and you're not really getting the benefits from it in that respect either. So, you know, everything is, you have to look at everything in regards to obviously returns. And if you set up a business, like, you have to almost avoid the ads that you see on social media. So, for example, you know, I see loads of property management courses and rent to rent, all this jazz, and it's like 95% BS, man. Like 99% BS. But they touch onto something. Like, if I had a money issue right now, and I went for my Instagram and all my pals are, you know, eating at Novikov and, you know, doing all the good stuff, you get desperate and you get vulnerable to make that switch around. And then someone turns up on your social media feed because you've been searching about how to get rich or property, and they'll be like, join my course and you'll learn X, Y, and Z, and then you pay £3,000 for that course, and then there's a follow-up course, and before you know it, there's been people that have actually committed suicide off the back of developing this debt with these course companies. It's horrendous, man.
Yeah, no, because the whole thing is, when you're in that realm of desperation, if you're like, common sense should dictate, like, okay, if this was a golf course and Tiger Woods came up to you and, pay me £3,000, and in 6 weeks you'll be able to be a golfing professional, you'll like look at him and go, okay, that's nice and all, but the realistic standpoint is, no, that's not going to happen. So I like, when it comes to sort of businesses and entrepreneurial things, I don't like when you get people coming up to like these poor individuals, like going, do this course, and in a matter of like a few weeks or just doing this course, you'll be able to be a millionaire. You're just like, oh, Come on.
Passively.
Come
Passive. The big word is passive. Like it's like you have a
Active
passive
there.
income
Yeah.
of
But
£2,500. So like that tells me I'll be just sitting down doing nothing, making this money. Just
yeah, like, and like the whole thing is, if like looking at it, there is nothing sort of passive about business in any way. You can set
yeah.
up good systems where once it's going, it will be working by itself more or less, but you still got to keep an eye on it. You still got to change things up because once it gets to a point, it's no longer relevant, and you've got to then basically break that down, build a new one, and then like keep on
I
going.
mean, I believe that you can work towards automating your business, right?
Mm,
But it takes a hell of a lot of work in the beginning,
yeah,
and you've got to see it through to the end. So when you do go hands off, it might be you might have more staff, you might have an area manager, you might have an operation director, for example. All you've really done is you've just automated it, so you've got one person who's your point of contact,
yeah,
rather than dealing with everybody. Okay, there's one person who's your point of contact. So your business does become, to some respect, passive, but you're
mm,
still dealing with something here. But the idea of having a passive income, it really only works when you're already a landlord. You've got like 6, 7 properties under your belt. You bought them years ago, so your interest rates are low or whatever it is,
yeah.
and that makes sense. But like, but there's still a lot of work that has to happen in the beginning, and it's like I've been to some of these things. I remember I got pulled into some cryptocurrency event seminar, right? And no, but this one,
Yeah,
I never entertained these guys. Actually, I never entertained them.
yeah.
It was only because I had a very well respected, like he was almost like a mentor of mine. He said to me, "Look, dude, check it out. You might like it." I'm like, "Why should I?" His name was Uncle Bob, by the way. I'm like, "Uncle Bob, why should I check this out?"
Mm,
Uncle Bob was like, "It's a cryptocurrency, but it's backed by gold. So whenever you buy one of these cryptocurrencies, you get a portion of gold that comes with it. So now you have an asset attached to your crypto." So I thought, okay,
why don't you just buy
uh,
gold?
yeah. I was like, okay, Uncle Bob, just off the back of you telling me to check it out, I'll check it out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I joined this Facebook group. He said, "Look, make sure you join this group." I've joined this group, and they were like straight away, "Oh yeah, Cameron, let's have a Zoom call, let's get together, let's talk about this and blah blah blah."
Mm,
I'm like, okay, whoa, it's fine, it's fine. We'll just send. I just what's the name of your brand, and I'll just YouTube a couple of videos. I mean, like, I'm gonna walk into this one. You're gonna pull me into this, right? And then they came to London. They're like, "Cameron, we have this major event happening in London.
yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna send over 2 tickets to you. You can bring you and a friend of yours. Do you have anybody that want to come with you?" And I'm like, I'll ask someone. And I asked somebody, he was like flat out no. So I went by myself to this event. Now I go to this event, and I'm not being funny, but there's if you ever want to see, okay, there's something called the Entrepreneur Formula. There's a guy named Mike Winnett. He wrote
I
it on
know it.
YouTube. It's phenomenal,
Yeah.
and he identifies all the things you got to watch out for. And these are some things I noticed right off the cuff. And this is before Mike Winnett had put his documentary out. So when you're out there, I remember most of the speeches were about who wants more money? I do. Who wants more free time? I do. What if I told you that you can have all these things? And everyone's like, yeah.
Mm.
So the first half of the conversation is about, aren't you sick and tired of the banks, taking all your hard-earned money and you living like a dog and working like a dog and your pension's at threat and boom, 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 boom. And everyone's like, yeah, actually, I'm pretty pissed off. I'm like, yeah, actually, am. So, you got this vibe in the air. So we're not even talking about we're not even talking about the business model of anything. We're just emotionally driven right now.
Mm.
And then at the very end, it's like, if I told you could earn this much money in this much time, would you bite my hand off for it? And everyone's like, yeah, I'd bite your hand off for it. And then the next person comes on board, and the next person usually is going to be a testimony. And it's going to be 5 years ago, I had nothing to my name, and I was broke, and I was crawled up into a ball in my shower and questioning life and screaming myself to sleep every night until I met blah, 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 blah. And he told me about this X, Y, and Z. And, now I'm earning £20,000 quite comfortably. And I remember when he was saying this, called me judgmental, right? But I looked at his suit and I thought, okay, a guy who earns £20,000 a month would at least have a suit which fit him well.
Yeah.
Just like, the shirt would come out and it'd just have a nice fitting. Your trousers would be straight. I mean, this guy looked like he bought this off the shelf. There's nothing wrong with buying suits off the shelf, right? But when you're earning £20,000 a month and your whole persona is about success and business, and you put a suit on to look completely sharp, at least put on the suit which is for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, be the suit, right? Anyway, he mentions about this thing, and then we had a little smoke break, or it was like a little 5-minute break. So as I'm outside, I decided to talk to some of the other members who go there.
Yeah.
And there's a language they always said. It was the same tagline. Nobody ever, I'm not trying to sell you the idea. They say to you, I'm not selling you the idea, I'm sharing the idea with you.
Okay.
And I noticed more than one person say that to me. Like literally 5 people said it to me. The same. I spoke to them all individually, and they had the same tagline. So this is like buzzwords.
Yeah.
The other one was, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for my children, my grandkids, so they can earn off this. I'm doing all this for them.
Yeah.
I thought that's really nice. So I'm like, well, what exactly is it you're doing? And when they would explain what they were doing, and most of it was you buy. So basically, this is their business model, right? And this is why you should be very suspicious of a business model that sounds just like this. It was, right now, this cryptocurrency is worth X, Y, and Z money. We haven't launched it yet, but when we launch it, it's going to go, right? So right now, we're going to sell it to you for 3 cents per coin. And if that goes up by 20%, you would have earned X, Y, Z amount of money. But if you keep that money in your account, we could reinvest it for you again. And then you'll be compounding your money. And then you sit on a beach and earn passively and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So you go to this event, and I'm looking around me, and I'm not sitting with serious investors here. I'm literally sitting with people who are like, want to make a quick buck. There were people asleep in the audience. Most of them were, I only came here because X, Y, and Z told me to come here. And the vibe I just got wasn't feeling right. And then I remember, and they would always, they were good salesmen, so they would know how to put a close on you. Like, so what do you think? I'm like, well, it's a good idea. So are you ready to make that investment right now to change your life? No, what do you say to that? No, I'm not ready to change my life. Actually, I'm not. I like how it is right now. I remember telling her that, actually. I said, look, I'm afraid I like working for money. I like being busy, actually. This thing might not be for me. Oh, but just, just stay in the group and maybe we'll convince you otherwise. And so I stayed in this group, right? I was watching them, right? Just watching them now. And then I noticed somebody started saying to them, like, yo, why is the value of gold that you're giving different to the actual value of gold which is on the market?
Precisely. No, because when they're talking about going up 30%, I was thinking this earlier. I was like, when they're talking about going up 30%, not unless the gold, if it's tied to gold, it's tied to gold.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. So if the value of gold goes up, then surely the value of my crypto asset would go up at the same time. And the answer, I was watching this thread. Now, I remember I was telling you before, like how people go on social media, they don't engage, they just lurk. That's what I was lurking and watching what he was saying. I thought, what does he say about this? And the guy was like, oh, it's just like that because our particular type of gold is cut from a different country. Like, what? That makes sense.
It's cut from a different country.
So, you're not mining this on Earth? Where is this coming from? And now this good person kept asking questions, but you said that this items have gone live now, right? They were like, you said that when we go live, we'd go up in value, but all I've been seeing is every week we're just depreciating in value.
Yeah.
My guy comes back and says, well, this is the perfect opportunity to buy more. Okay. He's like, yeah, now you buy more. So now you've got more spending power to buy more coin.
Yeah.
When that goes up, you'll be twice as rich as what you initially thought you'd be. And I thought, this guy's getting sucked in differently. But the guy, he was still savvy. He was like, hang on a minute, that doesn't make any sense. You want me to put more money in now? I'm losing money as it is, and you're asking me to put more money. Is this your tactic? Then in the end, the guy replied, he's like a regional manager of this thing. He goes, look, I've noticed that you've been making certain negative statements. We don't need your negativity around here. And if you don't have the faith to see this project to the very end, maybe you shouldn't be here. I was thinking, hang on a minute, bro. This guy invested in your business. You're going to tell him now that you just should have had faith. And if you don't have faith, then it's just your negative vibes. I'm going to deal with your negativity. And that's it. And then I had, yeah, man. And I interjected. I'm like, I'm not being funny, but you can't tell this guy to have blind faith when he's giving you £20,000.
Yeah, but yeah, and he can read a spreadsheet which says gold is at this price, and you've tied gold to that, and yet gold is there, and your currency is there. It's like
crazy, man. So I'm saying, like, people just need to be careful. They just have to be serious. Just be careful what you're looking, because if the business doesn't make sense, or the investment doesn't make sense, just go away from it. Even if they throw a check out to you, or there's a testimony from someone who says, I was so broke and I was this and I was that, and now I've got this Ferrari, whatever it is. If it doesn't make sense, just walk away, because they're just reeling them in, man. And when you don't make that money, it's always going to be your fault. You didn't do enough work, my friend, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Oh, God. I got to say, I love the story. But you know what? I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to be absolutely straight. Like, you were doing your podcast for a while, right? And then you kind of stepped away from it. Yeah? Like, you need to get back on that, seriously. Because, look, like basically the story is fantastic. Like, demeanor and like on this podcast is great, and like, yeah, I think you should like get that back up and running. Yeah, like whether it's just you like talking to other people with regards to the realm of like businesses in your local area, or whether it's like, you know what I mean, you doing like what I'm doing, interviewing people and having a back and forth discussion. But I think, yeah, you should get back on that big time, because damn.
I think we have to do. 100% I'm going to have to. I think I've even tinkered. I left it. I've done this thing where I started it.
Yeah.
It got some good traction, and then I got so involved in my companies, my business, because we have a balance. Because obviously with podcasts, it's you invest your time and your money into it. You don't get money back. You don't get the time back, obviously, but. These are things we do because we just love doing them. And for me, I felt like, because I was in that rut where I developed these businesses, and I was working so hard that I couldn't release them into anybody else's hands. And I let my podcast go because I thought, I need to be here. I need to take charge, and I need to be in control of these things. And much of what I speak about is because I've made those same mistakes. So I hired someone to come into the business. I hired a few people to say, guys, I need you to do with property, for example. I'm going to concentrate on this. And yes, Moira, you're right. I'm going to relaunch the podcast. Your local entrepreneur podcast will be back.
Yeah, because damn, I think with the wealth of information knowledge you've got, like, yeah, I think it will really help a lot of people in like local community and like further afield. Because look, anyone who start like you're the very sort of definition of serial entrepreneur. And
no, calm down. No.
Wait, okay, tell me this, okay, right? Before you go, no. Have you started more than one business in your lifetime?
Yes.
Have you started more than 3 businesses in your lifetime?
Collectively, or just, are we talking in total?
Well, in total, collectively.
Yeah, I mean, like in total, yeah. I mean, I've started businesses, but I've also shut some down. I've said, like, this isn't work.
Yeah. That is, look, serial entrepreneurs start up businesses, not 1, not 2, but 3. When you get past the number 3, that's a series.
I guess, so yeah. That's how they define serial killers.
Yeah, look, if you don't like entrepreneur, like, look, yeah, you're a series business starter, either which way.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, because one of the things I'm quite careful of, and this is one of the reasons why I probably came on your podcast as well, Moira, was that your style and your podcast are very black and white. It's direct. It's just, it is what it is, conversation. And I like to, or even before we went live and stuff, I even said, like, look, I'm not I'm not a super pundit. I'm not the guy who says I know it all or anything like that. I like to be that. I like to keep it real to the point where, yeah, I think I've got a couple of companies. I'm making all right money.
Mm.
I'm not making life-changing, crazy amounts of money where it's like, invested on your property every 6 months. But I'm making, and this is where because I've been broke. I've been completely broke. I remember opening my wallet, and the wallet was worth more than what was ever inside it, put it that way. I remember being in Central, I remember going for interviews for jobs, right? And I remember deciding whether to like eat or have lunch while I'm out and about in Central London, or just wait till I get home to eat, because money was just depleting. Because when you're looking for a job, you phone recruiters, they want you to come to Central London and they want you to sign up with them, and that will cost money.
Mm.
And I remember losing. Yeah, I remember. I was just flat out broke. I did at one point. At one point in my life, I was so broke. Right, I worked for a butcher's. No, it was like a factory, like a wholesale factory sort of thing. So what you were doing, so early in the morning, like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like a distribution center. So like all these carcasses of dead animals and whatnot would come to the factory, and we'd load them up into the van. And it's the kind of job which, forgive me, you're just working with illegal immigrants and people who don't have papers and crap like that, right? I'm working there. I kid you not, bro. And this is like, you used to wake up at 4 a.m. You have to be at the factory at 5.
Mm.
By 7 a.m. you're in the vans and you're distributing all over South London. And I remember when I was loading up these trucks, right? And the owner of the business, he'd walk around, because this is like low end work, right? He'd walk around just saying, hurry up, come on, we haven't got all day, move it. I remember thinking, he can't talk to me like that. I'm an educated person, actually. I'm far too good for this. But I was flat broke, so I didn't have a choice, actually. So I remember doing some of the deliveries. I was there for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then one morning, I was up in the morning. I was looking at my phone. I'm like, is this what I've become, sort of thing? Like, I had this moment where I'm like, I have a degree. I went to university. I'm fairly well educated. I can speak half decent English, actually. Surely I can do much more than this. Surely I can do much better than this.
Yeah.
And I phoned him up. I like, boss man, I'm not coming in. He's like, you what? I go, yeah, man. I'm sorry, man, I'm not coming in. He goes, what do you mean you're coming in? Because why are you not coming in? I'm like, it's because I'm better than this, bro. And it's not the crap on anybody. I was like, look, it's because I'm better than this, bro. And I'm afraid this really isn't for me. Thank you very much. And phone down, left it at that. And that's when things took then that's when things changed. Because it was literally after that everything changed. I was working for someone else's estate agency, and they were like, this is a commission-only business, by the way, boss man, because you've got no experience and we haven't got any money. That cliche. There's no money in the business, so we'll do it on commission only. Oh. And thankfully, that in that week's worth of money, in that week, I made like £550. So I was like, wow, if I continue doing this, I'd make more money, right? And then that transpired, and then I met that entrepreneur who wanted me to be the admin person. I worked underneath him. And it was only when I started working underneath him, watching him, and him occasionally giving me little bits of fruit of information, that it just made me believe that you can make these things happen, and it's out there. Look at the world abundantly. Don't look at the world as if it's running out of stuff. It's not running out of money anytime soon. It's not running out of anything, actually. There's abundant levels out there. And we live in London. We live in London, where there's loads of money, man. There's like loads of money here. The financial capital just down the road from us. We've got big money spenders here. And it's only when you see people departing with huge amounts of cash that you realize that there is this market of people out there. Like, it's not always, like, just think in terms of abundance rather than we're finishing off. It works, man. And then after that, once it happens and you get to that stage where you've created money, it's something, man. When you create something from nothing, it's like a shot of like, yeah, it's the good stuff. It's just that dopamine kicks back in, and it reinforces your belief that this is going to work. And then you keep going. And then before you know it, you've got a business. And then you're doing what you love, which is even better. What's better than that?
Indeed. You know what? That is a perfect place to end it on.
I know, man. I ramble, so forgive me if I went way over the time limit on anything.
No,
I'm a rambler.
no, this is your podcast episode, and look, man, you have been outstanding. I'm gonna say that to you now, Cameron. Outstanding. I'm gonna just say this, tell the people how they can find you, so that they can get in contact with you. Because
okay, so this is where I say like, comment, and subscribe, folks.
Oh no, by all means.
You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram. So on Facebook, I'm Kamran Khan, but when you write Kamran Khan, you're going to find a bunch of us. I'll be the one with my hands folded like this. It looks a bit like this, actually. So yeah, there's that one. I've got a LinkedIn, Kamran. I've got a Kamran LinkedIn. My Instagram is Kamran, K-A-M for Mike, R for Romeo, A for Alpha, N for November. Kamran K270. That's my Instagram. The reason why it's 270 is because there's somebody out there who's got the Kamran K username, and I'm following that person, and they don't post. They don't do nothing. They've just taken my username, and I got user 270 to get differentiated from mine.
I'm glad.
I'll be listening. I'm watching this guy, right? Because I'm like, dude, you don't even post, dude. You just give me the name. You can find me on there. You can find me on TikTok as well. I'll play around on TikTok. Yeah. So my name on that is Kamran K, but the K is spelled K-A-Y. We have a podcast called Your Local Entrepreneur Podcast. If you want to find that on Facebook, all you got to do is type in YLE podcast and it should come up. But there's been nothing in there since November 2019. But maybe when you see this, you'll see a bunch of other stuff by that time.
Things are going to change. Things are going to change.
Yeah.
Brilliant. What I'll also do, I'll put all of the links in the description below in the show notes. So, yeah, please get in contact with Kamran. Great chap. Fantastic speaking to him today. And, yeah, Kamran, thank you for coming on. You superstar. That's all I've got to say. And I've got to say this, thank you, my friends. Thank you, my life warriors, for coming, watching the show. If you're still here up until now, it is appreciated. I'd say stay well, stay safe, be excellent, be cool, be fantastic. Be all the positive bees you can be in this world and then some. Thank you very much, guys. Hey, have a great day.
God bless. Thank you so much.
No worries. Hey, and we are